Yo vole, what's up? Welcome to Evolve with Flaka, el podcast para crecer en tu carrera, boost your confidence y sentirte parte de la comunidad. I am Flaka, your HR mommy and hype woman for all the things careers. Cada Wednesday, we'll dive into some real talk, my own journey, my clients' career lessons. Of course, I'm going to share, pero con mucho cariño y discreción, and the estrategias you need to step boldly into your next boss era. Aquí, we grow con amor, we lead con poder, and we move with purpose. Let's evolve, mis jefas. Hola, hola, ¿cómo estamos? Yo sé que estoy como me veo. Y como me veo, muy cansada. I am exhausted, y'all. It has been a wild, wild time, and it just feels like it's not getting any better. But welcome back to Evolve with Flaka, the space again where we're talking all of the things. But specifically for today's episode, it's one that hits bien cerquita del corazón. So I didn't even stress out about doing my makeup because pretty sure I'm going to cry again. This has been so healing. I appreciate y'all so much for tuning in if you're truly actively listening to my story. And I truly hope that you're walking away with all the gems and all the goodies to grow yourself or to spread the word for others to grow. And I'm saying that this is really close to my corazón because I'm going to be talking about how I have evolved as a mom. Not the version that's like trophy, not the perfect morning routine version or the slow mornings or the stay at home mom, because if you know me, you know, I don't think I could sit still at home. But I'm going to talk about the real, la verdad, the messy, beautiful, rewarding journey of being a mama. But not just being a mama, because, you know, a lot of people can be moms. But I'm talking about being a mama that is trying her damn best to grow, to build, and to breathe all at the same time of advocating for others. You know, people always, I feel like now as a mom myself, and I think back of when people asked or talked to me about being a mom, they made it sound like it was some kind of destination, like some place you get to and you're done, you're good. But it's been more like a road, like you're just driving through and through and through, and you keep driving on it, and every single road reflects a new part. It's a new like pavement, it's a new roadway, it's a new street, and it changes who you are, who you were, and then helps you become like more and more of who you're going to be. So let me straight off the bat be very, very honesta. Vamos a ser sinceros, dice uno de mis tíos. Motherhood isn't easy. It's todo a la vez. Absolutely todo. Para mí, mi mamá ha sido mi sanadora, mi psiquiatra, mi doctora, mi cocinera, mis ahorros, mi amor, mi vida, es todo. Es mi alegría, es mi cansancio, es mi orgullo, es mis dudas. And I'm the same. I feel like I am the same for my kids. I feel like I bring joy to them, but I'm always exhausted. They bring pride to me, but sometimes I doubt if I'm doing the best for them. There are absolutely days where I feel completely unstoppable. Like, ay, mira, estoy bien jefasa. Soy bien chingona, todo lo puedo en Jesucristo que me fortalece. But then there are days when I just stare out at my home, at the laundry, at the front yard, the backyard, the garage, the back seat, and just think to myself, like, what did I get myself into? And I am so done. But let's be honest, I just can't. One of the biggest lessons I have learned is that being a mom also should not and does not pause your dreams. But what it has changed for me is the way that I've chased my dreams. Before I had kids, I used to think of success with, economically, with deadlines, with titles. But now success sometimes looks like getting everyone to eat, especially with my son's autism, showing up for myself. So making sure that I have showered. It looks like still having energy to pray and be grateful before bed, no matter what else is happening. And what I truly wish that if any part of this episode you're listening to, I truly wish that people understood us moms, we are not superheroes. We are literally human beings doing holy work. We are doing God's work out here. Every single diaper change, every temper tantrum, every story that we read to our kids, that we share with our kids, every song that we sing, every dance move that we invent is shaping a future generation. And that is the most powerful thing that I can share about us moms. Now, let me tell you a little bit about what the different ways I am a mom myself, because there are more than, there's so many different ways that you can become someone's mother. But specifically for me, the processes. I like to point these out because I feel like every single one of the ways that I have become a mother have truly shaped who I am today. So for my firstborn, CJ, as we call him, his uncle actually gave him that name because his name is Christian Jr. And yes, they have two last names because I am Mexicana and I have my two last names. That's a whole nother podcast episode for another day. But CJ, I like to call him my husband's birthday present. We were having some fun. And so basically, I don't think I was ready. I was hitting 24 with my son, I believe. And I was already done with my first, or I was enrolled in my first semester of my master's program. I was already in a corporate big girl job. And even then, when my husband and I are 8 years apart, and the man was like 31 at the time, when we went to the urgent care center or emergency room center, and I felt nauseous and sick, and I really thought it was a hungover from a really lit party on that Friday. It was just a rocky start to everything because we showed up to that urgent care thinking I had like food poisoning or a really bad hangover or some stomach bug or something. Turns out I'm pregnant. And I still remember going, to use the restroom on the little clear cup, and they tell me to like put it in the cabinet thing, silver cabinet, label it. I'm coming out of the restroom, and the nurse immediately is like lit up like a light bulb. Like it's like the best thing that's happened to her that day. And she's so happy, and she looks at me. She's like, "Congrats, mommy." And I still, like a fool, look around me like, "What are you talking about?" And this was late at night, and I'm like, "Me?" And she's like, "Yes, congrats, you're pregnant." And she shows me the pregnancy test. My stomach drops. I am unfortunately very scared. I was also, let me point out, I was already married to this man, but I was married to him por el civil, or through the court. And I just felt guilt because through the traditions of the Catholic Church and the rules are that that's out of wedlock because the church has not been witness to our marriage. Which then, fast forward, we can have another episode on that for sure. But fast forward, I'll never forget what a certain priest said to me that if you're in love and in that moment and you're married, what is the sin? Love is not a sin. So I felt guilt, I felt fear, I felt doubt. I was just very mixed emotions, but I unfortunately was not filled with joy as I should have been. And that is something that I will always carry and regret because my son is the most amazing little human that I know. And so I remember she said, "Do you want to, is that the dad?" When she tells me I'm pregnant, she asked me if my husband in the room was the dad. And, in the beginning of our marriage, we had a lot of issues because he would never drop anything or drop sports to do anything else. If there was a game on, that man was on it. So this was fall season, so we were in football season at the time. So he's in the room watching some football game or something, and then the nurse is like, is that dad?" That's what she said. And I said, "No, that's my husband." And she was like, "No, no, no. I mean your baby's dad, like your baby daddy." I was like, "Oh yeah, that's the baby's dad." And she was like, "Are you gonna tell him now, or are you just gonna wait?" And I was like, "Why would I wait?" And I regret that so much that I didn't wait and make it a happier moment. So I just walked in and I literally tossed almost on in his face the pregnancy stick. And I just looked at him and he was like, "What? You're pregnant?" And it was just like so serious face. And immediately he was like, "Hey, it's going to be okay. We're going to get it figured out." We were still living with my parents, trying to figure out our lives together. And he immediately was like, "We got to start looking for an apartment. There is no way we're going to like make it through together with your mom around because oh, my mom is very protective as moms should be." So, I go through that pregnancy. I am huge, y'all. So, I started that pregnancy with my son 100 pounds, so very thin, and then I think at the end of it I was about 158 pounds. He weighed 8 pounds, 13 ounces via C section and was 21 inches. The boy was chunky and tall and long. Um, so I became his mama. And oh my gosh, C sections are, I don't wish that on my worst enemy. They're very hard to recover from. Then, not only that, but the breastfeeding. Oh my gosh, the pumping. That's going to be another episode. Like, yeah, it's a lot. But I became mom of one. And for a while, it was like, we don't know one another. Let's make sure we get through with one. We've always known that we want more than one because my husband is an only child and he doesn't really like it. I have my older brother, so we're two siblings. And I like it, but sometimes when he pisses me off, I don't have another choice, right? Or like when we're not in touch, it sucks because we're not talking or we're not talking as often. And it's just like I would want to have someone else to be around and options, right? And I don't have that. I only have one sibling, one brother, and he only has me. So we only have each other. So I've always wanted three, honestly. And I do have three. And just they're just not all together and can't all play together and can't all eat together and can't all do everything together. But we tried for a long time. And then in 2022, I I got pregnant and then I suffered a miscarriage, and that miscarriage is honestly the worst thing that's ever happened to me in my life, but yet the biggest blessing that I've ever experienced. And I have a podcast episode with my life coach where you all can check out the story on that if you'd like to hear it before I share it on mine. I don't mind. But essentially, I miscarried. So I am a mom to an angel because no matter how tiny, no matter if you got to hear their heartbeat, meet them, carry them, just the simple illusions and dreams that all happen to come by and the emotions that happen whenever you're looking at the pink lines or the pregnancy word. Man. Um so went through that 20 2020 2022 2023 was some of the like darkest times of my life. Um and I keep forgetting to do this, but I definitely will make sure that I record it going forward, or maybe I can just make a separate one, but trigger warning for a lot of my episodes because I will be very open and real. Um, but I go through that miscarriage. I I have very much just been floating around the idea of becoming a mom again or what to do next. But my husband reminded me so much of our dreams, of our hopes. And I would see my son, and I have two nephews and my niece, and I see them together. And I have an uncle who has a pretty big family here in the US. Well, most of them did. They all had more than two kids. And I see those relationships, and I'm like, some are iffy, some are real good. So I'm like, I don't know. I don't know, honey. I just kept saying, I don't know. But something in the back of my mind, my soul just really did want to keep growing our family because even though pregnancy and becoming a mom is like very difficult, painful, and at least for me, not ever comfortable in my pregnancies, I knew I wanted to try again. So we tried, you know, all the things that we could. I started my acupuncture journey, which, that's going to be a whole different episode. And I'm definitely going to bring my acupuncturist to talk to you all or talk about it because it's been a journey with the needles. And so then we decide to see if there's any possibility that we could get some support because then I was diagnosed with unexplainable infertility. And which I roll my eyes and do my faces, mis jetas, because it's just like, how do you not explain it? But it just pisses me off how there's not enough research or support out there to help us out and make sure that our bodies, do what they need to do or what they can do. But so fast forward, we start looking for resources, we start asking questions. Turns out we had some fertility benefits through my husband's employer, and we decided to try it. And when I tell you, trust God's timing, trust it. Because, obviously, with sometimes when we are very depressed, but we want to pull ourselves out, we start making like rash decisions and we just rush into things. So I started like, yeah, 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 let's do it. Yeah, 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 let's do it. But then when the benefits were all reviewed, I wasn't going to be eligible till a year later. So that's what had to happen. We had to wait, we had to reflect, and then make a decision. So, and I was basing everything off of how I was feeling. I was taking it one day at a time. And from the moment that we decided to go see a fertility specialist, I literally was taking it one day at a time, one decision at a time, one conversation at a time. But then we started the IVF process. And because it was accessible to us. And I roll my eyes again because it should be accessible to all of us if you are, hoping to become a parent. And so we start our IVF journey, which is not fun. But one of the first things that they do is that they collect your eggs. And y'all, I was like, so I am fertile. But yet, what is going on for my eggs to not meet with my husband's sperm and create life? What is going on? Um, they were able to get 23 eggs from me. Then from those 23, we can, talk about later episodes. But essentially, we decided that, you know what? Let's go. We're going to really go through with this. So we went through with it. And now I am an IVF mom too, through my daughter. Evelette Donantzin is an IVF baby. And I don't think if I would have lost my son, Otniel, then I would have never met Evelette. We would have never had her because I think I was meant to be a boy mom, but God said you need to be more tender and have more grace with yourself and rediscover who you really are and heal so many parts of you. And you deserve all the best things that here's your baby girl. Even though she looks nothing like me, y'all, está bien güera. And somewhere along the way, I really do we lose ourselves as moms. We really do. And, we become all these other things. We become the employees, we become the leaders, we become the mom, the tias, the primas, the wives, all the other roles. But where are we? Where is us? Where am I? Where was Flaka? It hit me one day while I was just getting ready for work and I looked in the mirror and I didn't recognize who I truly was anymore. That's when I started really giving myself permission to rediscover me. And I really felt the pressure when I realized that I'm having a daughter. I started reconnecting again to all the tools that I had learned, and one specifically is journaling. I started making sure that I was journaling again as much as I could or as much as I can, honestly. I started saying yes to dancing while, I pack my lunch or before when as soon as I wake up and I greet baby girl when she wakes up or my son sitting alone in the dark as the shower like water hits me, listening to worship music, to alabanzas in my car when I'm alone and just take a moment to thank God. I stopped apologizing for needing my own space and being me, I realized didn't take away from me being a mom. It actually fuels it, vice versa. Like it fuels me to be a mom and I feel myself as a mom. When I fill my cup, I have noticed that my patience, my creativity, my energy multiplies across the board and in turn really, really supports my family. And one thing that I've realized, y les quiero decir bien claro a las mamás de todos lados, no necesitas ser perfecta. No existe la perfección en nada, pero mucho menos en ser mamá. Lo que sí necesitas hacer es estar presente. So let me say that in English. I want to let all the moms out there know. Your kids don't need a perfect mom. There's no such thing. There's no way you're going to be a perfect mom. But what they need is a present one. But being present sometimes, oh my gosh, when you try to find like this blend of the two of being you and then being a mom, so much guilt can come. Oh, oof. That one follows us moms everywhere and it does not let us sleep. Like I literally feel sometimes like I can't sleep because I'm missing something. It's like missing something at, my son's therapy, forgetting something. The guilt of being like, I need some time alone. But I had to learn guilt will not help me grow as a mom. But having grace with myself will. And I always tell myself, estoy haciendo lo mejor que puedo con lo que yo tengo. And it's understanding that we're doing the best fucking like thing that we can with the little or not enough that we have. And every single one of our stories looks so different. And oh my gosh, we've got to stop comparing ourselves to each other. I was doing that so much in the beginning when everybody's out here posting pictures and everybody's dressing up the kids and, doing all of that. But are they really present with their kids? I don't know. So I noticed that comparing myself to other people was really stealing my time and my joy with my kids. Now, when I catch myself feeling guilty, I ask myself, would I even judge another mom for doing this? And the answer is always no. So why am I so hard on myself? So every day, moms, practice giving ourselves grace. It's okay. Está bien. To start over, to slow down, and to really celebrate the small wins. Oh, that is the biggest thing CJ has taught me. That boy was nonverbal for the first 4 years of his life. And the first sound that came out of his mouth was like such a small win for us. Or him being able to tell us he was hungry or thirsty or wanted to sleep was the smallest things for us that now I'm like, oh my gosh. Him being able to like try to tie his own shoe or try to say hello to someone or really engage in conversation. Oh, it seems so small for the rest of us, but for him, it is a huge accomplishment. So, giving myself grace remembers to, it's even the smallest things from like drinking water sometime today, or even if it's combined with my coca. So, kids, as moms, they're always teaching us lessons. I literally feel like I learned so much around like experts, PhDs, and podcasts, the news, everywhere. We can take opportunity to learn everywhere. But kids are honestly the biggest and the best teachers. They remind us, or me as a mom, that joy can again be in the smallest little things. A silly little song, a silly little face, a dance that just random break dancing in the living room, the mess. They are so happy with the mess. They've taught me patience. They've taught me to have empathy. And oh my gosh, I remember my mom used to call me like a mula. I don't know if y'all know what that means, but essentially it's like you hold grudges. And I did. When I was little, like I think my brother talks about me holding my breath whenever I would throw my temper tantrums and I would refuse to eat and I'd just be in my own world, right? And I wouldn't forgive quickly. And my kids have taught me like how they quickly forget and forgive about whatever just happened. And then they go right back to smiling, kissing, and hugging me. And I'm like, oh my gosh, but I'm such a horrible being. Like, what did I just do to you? And you're still sitting here. And, something that's made me and my husband really emotional sometimes is that our son, who is 6 years old now, he'll do something and, we'll react. And sometimes he doesn't know quite sure how to react to our reactions. So we'll see in his like expression that he's really like afraid or he's hurt. He's not able to tell us exactly, but we know it, right? We feel it. And we'll be like, oh, sorry, puppy, sorry, puppy. And then he'll be like, it's okay. Don't be sorry. Be better. And oh, that always gets us because we're like, dang, that is so damn true. We cannot do shit with an I'm sorry. And I realize that's all any of us can do as moms. Try every single day to be the best that we can be for our kids. Love them every single day. Learn from them and repeat. And that is all they want from us. Seeing their little eyes light up whenever we're chasing our own dreams. Because just pay attention whenever you're trying something new, your kids are admiring you. That is everything. I want my kids to know that mommy is growing with them too. So, if you're listening to this while you're folding your laundry, while you're driving to work, or maybe You're like me hiding in the shower in the dark and playing your like radio speaker or whatever we want to call it, your wireless speaker for just 5 minutes of peace. I see you. You are doing enough. You are the best mom for your own kids. You are evolving. Remember, but make sure to remember motherhood doesn't erase who you are, but it will reveal who you were meant to be. And before, we go, I do always share that I am Católica. And every time I have doubt about if I'm doing the best that I can for my kids, I remember what the Virgencita heard from or said to Juan Diego. No estoy yo aquí, que soy tu madre. So I reflect on those words and ask for her guidance to help me make sure that I'm being the best that I can be and just be there for my kids, whatever they need me to be there like. So make sure to take a deep breath, give yourself grace, and we got to keep evolving. Thank you so much for listening. If this touched you in any way, please share with another mama who needs the reminder that she's not doing this alone. And until next time, nos vemos. Thanks for listening to Evolve con Flaka. Don't forget to follow, share with another jefa, and let's keep building comunidad. Stay chingona, stay confident, and keep evolving. Nos vemos next week.